It is possible, I guess, that our battle against depression in the 21st century is really a little bit like the battle against tuberculosis in the 19th and the 20th century. One of the pioneers of modern medicine, the 19th century physician Sir William Osler, he, of course, saw many patients in his career with tuberculosis coming from the poorer areas of town, the overcrowded areas, and so on, the places where living conditions were terrible, where sanitation was terrible. And as a result, he described tuberculosis as primarily, quote, a social disease with a medical aspect. In other words, yes, we can treat it medically, but fundamentally, tuberculosis isn't going to go away until people have better living conditions, until you don't have 8 people living in one room, and until people aren't with bad food and all the rest of it. So, in fact, although tuberculosis drugs were developed in the 20th century and saved millions of lives when they were invented, the reality is that the rates of tuberculosis were coming down decades before any of these drugs were ever rolled out to reach people. And the prevalence of tuberculosis improved because people's lives improved. Better food, cleaner water, less crowded living conditions, less dire poverty, less desperation. And I think we're going to see that a very similar thing is happening here. It's not that we won't be able to use new technologies like brain stimulation to pull people out of despair, but it's also possible that a key to getting people out of despair will be to understand depression also as, to some degree, a social disease with a medical aspect. If we go back to the idea that depression is the thing that happens when the brain has decided it's in a battle for survival that it's not going to win, then we look at the prevalence of depression as a number of people who look around at their lives and have concluded that they are in an unwinnable situation. And I believe in the same way that part of the pathway to getting people out of depression and reducing its prevalence will be improving the conditions of people's lives, the degree to which they feel secure, the degree to which they don't feel like they're going to lose their housing or to be under threat of violence. The first places in the world to overcome depression will be the ones that don't just develop better technologies to reset the brain, but also develop stronger societies in which we just have fewer percentages of people who are trapped in fights for survival that they feel they can never seem to win. And I guess that's maybe, there is a concept which one of my colleagues introduced me to from the history of Judaism. And it's a lovely phrase that I just really carry around with me all day. The phrase is tikkun olam, and it has been described to me as the religious injunction to repair the world. So, yeah, when we talk about resetting the brain, I think that falls within the larger battle to try and improve the lot of humanity and reduce despair everywhere. And so when I think about the pathway to tikkun olam and what neuroscience can contribute to it and what brain stimulation can contribute to it, I think it has an essential role in reducing the number of people who face the world in despair. And that will be an essential component of this much larger injunction to repair the world, which I think we can all relate to.